Morning, everyone, and welcome to our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, September 29th. Coaches availability will begin at approximately 10:05 with Alabama A&M head coach Sam Shade. He'll be followed at 10:15 by Coach Eddie Robinson with Alabama State. 10:25 will be joined by Coach Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State. 10:35 we'll have Coach Raymond Woody with Bethune-Cookman. 10:45, we'll have Coach James Colsey with Florida A&M. At 10:55, we'll be joined by Coach Mickey Joseph with Grambling State. 11:05, we'll have Coach Alonzo Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. And at 11:15, we'll have Coach Terrell Buckley with Mississippi Valley State. 11:25, we'll be joined by Coach Tremaine Jackson with Prairie View A&M. At 11:35, we'll be joined by Coach Terrence Gray.
Are you still enjoying your
11:45, we'll have Coach Chris Dishman with Texas Southern. At 11:55, we'll have Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State. Do appreciate everyone taking this opportunity to join us. Just a couple updates before we get started. If you do have questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. We ask you if you see several questions there already in the queue, please limit your initial round of questions to one initial question. If we've got additional time in our coach's availability, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. We ask you please ensure that your lines are actively muted unless you are asking a question, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. We're about 4 minutes ahead of schedule for 10:05 availability of Coach Shade, so we'll pause here momentarily. We appreciate your patience. Thank you. All right, once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Shade with Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. And as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's last weekend's matchup versus Bethune-Cookman.
Well, I went down to Daytona Beach, played against a good football team, coached by Coach Woody, Bethune-Cookman. High scoring ball game, 34-34, late in the fourth quarter of that ball game. And unfortunately, it just didn't go our way. They were able to get a touchdown late, and feel like we just ran out of time.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Shade, good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. How about you?
Doing well. Doing well. Looking forward to this week. So, what I wanted to talk about or ask you this week, obviously, this week defense was an issue with giving up run yards and explosive plays. Can you talk about that? And then also, I wanted to ask about the decision to kick the field goal to tie the game instead of going for it. Just what all went into those decisions?
Well, you know, first off, we didn't play well as far as defensively, particularly stopping the run. They had 259 yards rushing and 500 yards total. And like you said, 5 of their touchdowns were on explosive plays, plays with 20 yards or more. So, you know, we've got to play better defensively. We definitely have to play better on defense. And then on that last, on the drive that we tied the game up to 34-34, I actually went for it 2 times on 4th down before that, and we got it. And you know, then at that point, you know, fourth and goal just felt like, you know, didn't want to go back to the well again. And, you know, we had ran some time off the clock. So felt like, okay, let's tie the game up. And they actually hadn't scored on our defense since early in the 3rd quarter. So kind of felt like, you know, hey, we kicked the field goal to tie it up and we'd get a stop and then go back down and score to take the lead. But, you know, unfortunately, we just weren't able to, you know, keep them from scoring after we tied it up.
Well, Coach, appreciate the answers there. Good luck this week as you guys head down to Mobile.
All right. Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach Shay. How you doing today?
Good morning. Doing well.
All right. Can you give me your assessment of the play from Eric Hanley, and what are your concerns as far as this coming weekend with Jackson State as far as for QB play?
Well, I want to say Eric Hanley pleased with Eric. He threw for 355 yards and 3 touchdowns in the ball game, only 1 interception. And so just, you know, very, very happy with him, particularly, you know, him being a guy that hadn't played a whole lot of college football up until the last few games with Quad being out. So very happy with Eric. And what was your other question?
I'm really going to ask what is your status for Quad Brown for this weekend?
Well, you know, Quad actually dressed for the ball game on Saturday, and you know, just in warm-ups, he just wasn't quite ready to go, and so we held him. But you know, hopefully he'll be ready for this week's game.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Next question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach Shade. How are you?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm well, thank you. Coach Shade, as a first-year head coach, you came into this SWAC opener knowing how much a win would really mean to you, the team, and the Alabama A&M community. How tough is it to come so close and fall just short? And how do you channel that disappointment into preparing your players to still fight for a top spot in the SWAC East for the rest of the season?
Well, you know, it's definitely tough. You know, anytime you step in the arena and you lay it on the line, like our team did on Saturday, it's tough to come up short. But you know what I told the team after the ball game, I said, look, I mean, there's still a whole lot of football left to be played in this season, and you know, a lot of our goals are still out there in front of us. We just gotta, you know, be better as a team, and you know, own up to the mistakes we made and clean those things up.
Awesome. Well, good luck to you this weekend against J-State. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, after that tough loss in Florida, now you have the defending national champions on your schedule. Talk about what you've seen from this Jackson State football team on film.
Well, I've seen a very talented football team, offensively, defensively, and special teams. very talented. Really, not a lot of holes personnel wise. So we're gonna have our work cut out for us against them this weekend.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Shade. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Coach,
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Can you hear me there? Hello?
Yes, I got you, Ty. I think Ty's on mute.
Okay. What about now?
Issues.
Got you.
All right. So Jackson State has a lot of balance on offense with their running and passing games. As a defensive-minded coach, which is your background, of course, how do you attack that in terms with your defense when you're facing an offense that's as prolific as Jackson State's?
Well, we just faced a pretty balanced offense in Bethune-Cookman. They actually, had almost the same amount of rushing yards they had passing against us. So, like I said before, we've got a lot of work to do defensively to get prepared for a team like Jackson State, especially their offense being as balanced as they are. Being able to run it and throw it. It starts with us stopping the run. That's we have to start at. We've got to start at stopping the run, trying to make those guys one-dimensional, and so that's where it starts for us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach?
Andrew, I do have a follow-up if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Sam, with your first SWAC game under your belt, what difference have you found in this league's play as opposed to where you've been coaching in the past?
Well, it's still football. We're still putting 11 out there, and they're putting 11 out there. So, that part of it hadn't changed. Obviously the athletes are a little bit different, particularly, Bethune-Cookman. They had some guys, particularly some of their skilled guys offensively, were, very athletic, very skilled. But, at the end of the day, you're still putting 11 out there, and they're putting 11 out there.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Any final questions for Coach? All right. We'll take a question from Perry Daniels.
Coach, scheme-wise, were there any surprises from that Bethune-Cookman team this past week?
Well, actually, there really wasn't. They were who we saw on film. I said it last week. They were very balanced on offense, and that held true offensively. And defensively, we were able to make some, do some things against their defense. Offensively, we had 480 yards of offense against them. But, like I said, part of me feels like we just ran out of time. We moved the ball down to the 25-yard line after they scored to make it 41-34. And, if we had a little bit more time, I think we might have gotten the end zone.
It was a great football game, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're maybe a minute ahead of schedule. We'll be back momentarily with Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Thank you for your patience. All right, once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you taking time to join us, Coach. If you could please take a minute to start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Florida A&M.
Yeah, we went down to Tallahassee, played Florida A&M, a team we hadn't beaten since they joined the conference. So it was good for our fans to travel down there, and we were able to get up early, 7-0. We knew we had to get up to a good start with a 3 o'clock kick. It was 14-6 at halftime. Had a turnover right before halftime, and was able to keep playing hard and make a couple plays in the second half. I think in that third quarter was a big fourth down stop that could have went either way with a review, and fortunately it went our way, and that kind of gave us the momentum to kind of push ahead. Marcus Harris scored 3 touchdowns rushing, but Holdsclaw was the kid that rushed for 125. He just ran really tough, small guy that's really kind of finding his groove. And Jalen Jones scored a touchdown. So fortunate to come out there with a win. We know it's a tough place to play, and like I said, the last couple of years, FAMU's been having our number, so it was good to get a win over them this time. Coach Cozy, I know, get those guys moving and playing hard and doing all the things they're going to do to get back on track. So just fortunate to leave there and get us the W. And then this week we have homecoming, so we have all those distractions and things that don't really pertain to our football team, but we got to make sure we stay focused, and Coach Woody and those guys are off to a good start. So we know they're going to come here. It's going to be a tough ball game every time we play them. It's down to the last possession, close game. So we're expecting a real tough game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Robinson, how you doing this morning?
Doing pretty good. How's it going?
I'm doing good. So you got the proverbial monkey off your back. First win and first time beating FAMU in the last 4 years, but your defense came alive again in this game, holding the Rattlers to 14 points and only 309 yards of total offense. How do you grade your defense right now within a quarter of the season, and what are you looking for in the next game, which is the homecoming game?
Yeah, so we're improving. That's the good thing. Communication was a lot better. They had some good route combinations that can give you trouble. So guys were able to fight through and not have guys wide open. We tackled pretty good for the most part, but I think we still have a way to go. We still have a lot of improvement. We didn't get any turnovers, so that's always a goal, is to get turnovers. But I like the direction that we're going. We're playing hard. We're playing violent, tough, those type of things. But overall, I still think we have a way to go to really get to where we want to be. And so I think that's the defense.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Rob, congrats on the win. I know you guys have gone from a team that you hadn't been able to beat to a team that you have beaten. You've beaten Bethune-Cookman all 4 times since they've been in the SWAC. And particularly about Bethune-Cookman with this game, their offense is really heating up with Cam Ransom and Malik Huggins and also Javon Ross this weekend. So with all of the offensive output that they've had, getting nearly 1,000 yards in 2 games, what are some of the initial views that you guys have about slowing down this Wildcat offense?
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Cam as a quarterback. Tough kid. We played against him last year, and he's a physical kid. He ends the runs. He's trying to score. He can make a lot of the throws. They have a lot of speed on the field. So for us as a defense, we just got to go out there and compete and try not to give up the explosives. Last week you saw that they had a lot of big explosive plays. So it's going to be a tough matchup. They present a lot of problems in the things that they do offensively, and it starts with the quarterback. And so we know for us, we got to communicate well. We have to tackle well. You have to go out there and try to play a perfect game defensively, or else you get exploited. Coach Woody and those guys are always first or second in the conference with the fewest penalties, so they don't hurt themselves. So we know it's going to be a big ball game. And so we just got to go out there and try to win each day and prepare and really know what they do. But then physically, you have to go out there and try to stop it.
Well, Coach, appreciate the comments as always. Congrats on the win again, and good luck this week against Bethune-Cookman.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Super fantastic, Coach. Congratulations on a big win there.
Appreciate it.
Coach, talk to me about what was the difference in this contest as opposed to the last 4 contests against these Florida A&M Rattlers.
Well, the last 4 were all close games. I mean, sometimes the score seemed like it wasn't, but it was one of those games where probably third, fourth quarter there was a play or two that went against us. I think the difference here, we were up 14-6 at the half, and I think coming out in the third quarter, they had a big kickoff return. They had a big drive, and it was that 4th down stop. I think if that goes the other way and they're able to get that first down, it could be a 14-14 ball game, and it could go a lot different. So I think the guys were just able to execute in the third quarter and kind of separate ourselves, but it was still a game that you never felt like you had control in until like the very end. So a lot of hard work on both sides, and both teams competed to the very end. So I think that with that big stop in the third quarter was kind of the difference, in my opinion.
Well, again, congratulations, Coach. Not a lot of conference coaches can say that they've won in Bragg Memorial.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach. Congratulations on your win in Tallahassee.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's bittersweet for me to say that because I was out there in that hot sun and I'm a Rattler fan, but congratulations. Everybody is going to take this upcoming game with Bethune-Cookman as a build between quarterbacks, but I think more importantly, it's going to be the running back play. And this weekend, young Jameer Holtzclaw had a very big game, especially in the second half. Can you tell me about his progression from earlier this season until now to get that offense to be a balanced look?
Yeah, man, he's the guy that we have to get going. I think last year with all the injuries that we had at the quarterback position, we had kind of settled down as a team, and we figured out how to play with Kareem Keith. But Holtzclaw was the kid that was our explosive guy. He got hurt in the Mad City Classic, and we were a different team after he got hurt. So he was the one that it was really hard to get over that injury. So now he's getting back to that form that he was at last year. Just a super hard worker down there from Coconut Creek down there in South Florida. And this guy just comes out here, competes. He's worked hard to get himself back to this position. So I think he's the guy that we're expecting a lot out of. He can make the runs. He can go the distance. He can make you miss. He's tough. He's physical. Has a great understanding for the game. A couple of those 3rd and 2 runs, he understands, hey, I need to be tough and get the 2 yards. Don't try to be a hero. Just really love him as a player and as a person. So he's the one that has to play big for us to have a good game.
All right, Coach. Thank you. Good luck against that school in Daytona, and have a good one.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing well.
You had 6 different players contribute to the run game. As Troy said, Jamari Holtzclaw was leading the way with 135 yards. Can you speak on the ability of your offense to be dynamic and adjust to the defensive scheme you're playing? I know in past games we've seen the passing game with Andrew Body. So did you see something on FAMU's film with their defensive line that made you feel like you could lean heavier on the run game?
Well, we wanted to have an emphasis on getting the run started. The running game hasn't been what we would have liked over the last couple of weeks, and a lot of that because of the opponent. So for us, you just have to really see how the defense is going to attack you. What are they going to try to take away? So if they're trying to take away one thing, you try to do the other. So, but the guys up front play really well. They blocked really hard. We have multiple running backs: Carl Ligon, Marcus Harris, Kirkendall. So it's a couple guys. So you just try to wear down your opponent, try to run, try to be physical, and of course you take your shots in the passing game. But it was just Amari's day to day, and he's a good player, man. I think he's probably one of the most underrated guys in the conference. That just kind of came on as a freshman and showed us a lot before the injury, but I think he's just really getting back into form. So just hoping that he can finish off with a really good year. He deserves it by how hard he works.
Congratulations, Coach, and good luck for this coming weekend.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach. This is Marvin Nichols from MTMV Sports. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well. How's it going?
It's going great. Congratulations on the win. And after such a statement performance in your SWAC opener and the way your team has competed on both sides of the ball this season, how would you assess this group's growth?
Well, I think for us, our motto is always win today. So we keep it very simplistic. We're not worried about the next day. We're just trying to be the best on Monday, which means go to class, be on time, go to academic practice, those type of things. So we're moving in the right direction. We're just trying to get better each day. I think if we can get better each day, then we'll end up where we want to be. I think when you start focusing at the big picture and the growth and all that type of stuff, you kind of lose the picture of did we win today? So we'll wake up Tuesday morning and try to have the best practice all year. And I think if we keep having that approach, then it's that 1% better type of philosophy. And but yeah, we're moving in the right direction, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, Coach, a lot of the SWAC, I'm looking in the SWAC groups on Facebook and some of the other people's opinions about Alabama State. You guys are becoming a favorite amongst all of the fans, and you've been a top contender in the East, the last couple of years. So, do you believe the Hornets are now ready to truly be a force to be reckoned with in the East Division and maybe a serious threat to our reigning HBCU champions?
Well, I think that's why we play the games. I think everybody. Nobody has more than one loss in the conference. So I think everybody has a great chance to win the East or win the West. So everybody's just going to go out there and compete. That's what makes the conference so great. It's great coaching in the conference against these other great coaches and great teams. And so we go out there week to week and compete, and you see where it falls at the end of the year.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to you on this coming weekend. And thank you so much, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Alcorn State and Coach Cedric Thomas. Once again, if you do have any questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. We do have Coach Thomas with us. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yes, sir. Really festive atmosphere. First time playing in the Classic, kind of ending this 4-game road trip, and fans came out, in groves, and started out, pretty fast, and second half, that defense, coach had those guys really playing at a high level. Gave ourselves a chance down the stretch, made some critical errors, put us in a situation where we couldn't finish, but proud of the way the guys played, the way they traveled and did all the little things. Just still got to, stop shooting ourselves in the foot with some, costly penalties and, things that we got to continue to work on and get better. But shout out to Coach. He had his Coach Hamp had his guys, playing at a high level, and we got to continue to just execute and, finish these ball games.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Thomas, tough loss for you guys this week. I know you guys had things going the way you probably wanted it on offense, but obviously, like you said, you guys had some execution issues. But in three of the 4 losses you guys have had against probably winnable games that by your estimations, pinpoint it for us though. Like who does this really fall? Where does all this fall back on? Is it coaching? Is it discipline? I mean, what is it? All of the above? What does it take to get you guys into the win column now?
Well, it's me. It starts and ends with me. You'll never, if you know me, then you know me. I never, fault anybody else. It starts and ends with me. I got to do a better job of getting the message, matriculating down to the guys from the coaching standpoint and players. And then if I got to change some things from a coaching standpoint, we'll make those necessary adjustments, but it's not because of lack of effort. The guys are fighting hard, playing through the whistle. Some of those plays are just, some of those things that just happen in the game. But also we got to talk about the little things and continue to hone in on that on and off the field. So the buck starts with me. We'll, start in the morning again and get ready for this PB team. But ultimately, I'm the captain of the ship, and it all lands on my shoulders.
Well, Coach, good luck this week, and surprisingly is your home opener in your 5th game of the season. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Spoken like a true leader, Coach. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, sir.
I hear you accepting the responsibility, but let's talk some numbers. Your team is currently 12th in the conference in rushing defense. You've given up 218 yards a game and 10 touchdowns on the ground. How do you address that?
A couple of things is just, some important pieces being missing. We had two deemed ineligible and one is out, with a labrum. And that really impacts, what we're doing up front. But there's some guys that, starting to come along here lately that we just got to find spots that we didn't really expect those guys to have much input, of what we was doing up front. And so now we kind of getting those guys in form, from a teaching standpoint, a progression standpoint. And so, like I told the guys, we ain't gonna make any excuses. If we got to put 9 guys, 12 guys, however many guys we got to put in the box, we got to do that to be able to stop the run. And so we'll give it a big shot, this week and move some guys around to make sure we can just be formidable, versus this run game, because we know, PV is, dynamic on both aspects, but, really in that run game, we really got to anchor down and give ourselves a chance.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it, sir.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Thomas, how you doing today?
I'm blessed. About yourself, Doc?
I'm doing good. You talked about all 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams, but special teams has been your Achilles heel for the last couple of years. What are the things that you want to try to improve on going up into this game against Prairie View?
And just continue to do what we do in practice. That's the craziest thing. We finally get the punt situation squared away with no mishaps. We've been 100% on the field goal aspect just from operation in the first extra point. The short snapper rolls the ball back there, and you just sit there and you say, man, what else can we do besides continue to work at it? It's the first thing we do, at practice, just from an attention standpoint to make sure we show the importance. And so we just got to continue to execute and continue to do it, because we don't have those miscues, inside of practice, and we put a premium on it, and so we just got to put it all together on Saturday.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, ma'am.
So just a flip side of it, looking at some of the things that your football team was able to do well was, of course, rushing. You had 290 or 272 net yards rushing, and Jacorian Sewell was leading the way with 228 yards and a net of 225 with 2 touchdowns. Can you talk a little bit about Jacorian Sewell, your running back room, and your offense?
It starts with the O-line. Those guys are playing at a high level, creating holes and getting up to the second and third level. And, Sewell is the face of the program, just so excited about him and really just want to win, not only for him, but, all the rest of the guys. But he's definitely one who, stood the test of time behind Javion and Nico and all those guys. And, everybody's just trying to do it extra. Whatever they can do to help him, win and be successful, along with, the rest of the guys who do it the right way. But phenomenal person, really good football player. And so we expect him to do that every Saturday. Now, if we can just get, a lot of more guys to be able to just have that same fire and that same intensity for 4 quarters, we'll find ourselves on the right side of some of these wins.
All right, thank you. Is there room for a follow-up question?
We actually have 2 in the queue.
Okay.
Okay.
Good luck, Coach.
Appreciate it, ma'am.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm blessed.
All right, so everybody wants to talk about the rushing attack in this upcoming game against Prairie View. But looking at the stats, you guys have some big-time playmakers in the passing game. It just seems that you weren't able to make enough plays in the previous game to get you over the top. Tell us a little bit about your receiving core and their big play ability.
That's the most intriguing thing about, all the games besides the Mississippi State game. You just we got guys on the edges that can, when opportunity presents itself, we can make those catches, and just got to be consistent. But, we just finding the most opportune times to just shoot ourselves in the foot. We drive the ball to about the 13, 14, and, we got almost 30 yards worth of penalties. If we don't bobble or snap on the field goal, we're in field goal range, but we're down 4. Even the A&M game, the last drive, we got opportunity and just run out of downs. And so, those we're excited about where we at. We just got to, do all the little things. And I think, when they're not with us, just being on the field from a practice standpoint in the building, that's one thing, but we got to do all the little things off the field. And that's kind of what, we got to just, put our thumb down on. We're playing hard. We're playing with a sense of urgency. It's just those small things that end up being big things, such as the penalties. But that wide out core, is pretty good. And they got to continue to catch the football and block on the perimeter. And so we'll keep giving it to them when time permits. But we just got to put it all together from a holistic approach so we can get this win.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend against PV.
Appreciate it, sir.
Last question goes to Doc Holliday.
All right, Coach, I had to spin back around the block. Going into the game, into your first home game against Prairie View, what are the things you want to try to improve as far as getting the fans back involved with the team? It seems like a lot of fans have been down with the play of the team. What are the things you want to try to get improve for the team to get the fans back into the game?
Just doing what we do every day, at practice, just looking at the fans, in the stadium, when I took a look at it, they're going to support, it's their institution, regardless of who's the coach and who's the players. They support this great institution, which is great. And so we just got to do what we coach to do and do what we do in practice. It'll be a different scenario if we don't do these things at practice and it's showing up in the game, and so we just got to do what we coach to do on and off the field and, do what we do, every day at practice. And if we do that, then regardless of who in the stands, we'll come out victorious, and that's what we got to work on.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it, sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Bethune-Cookman. Coach Woody, once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. That being said, happy to be joined by Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama A&M.
It was a really good atmosphere. I know Coach Shade had his guys ready to go. We won the toss. Alabama A&M started with the ball and went on a 12-play drive, ended up with a field goal. Then we started our first offensive drive on our own 21 and went one play, 79-yard touchdown, a pass from Cam Ransom to Javon Ross. And, second quarter, we scored again. Kamani Robinson, a 24-yard touchdown. And then again with Ricky Shaw on a 27-yard touchdown pass from Cam Ransom. And then 27-17 half, we were up. Alabama A&M came storming back. We ended up scoring a run touchdown by Ali Scott on an 8-yard TD run. And then the fourth quarter, we ended up finishing another touchdown by him on a 26-yard touchdown run and ended up 41-34. I mean, they get a lot of respect for Coach Shea and his staff and team. They came back fighting, and we ended up, finishing with a win.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels.
Big win. You shocked the conference with this victory. Talk about what this means for your program and this season moving forward.
Well, for the players, it's all about them. They come to work and go to work. And like I said, we played some really good opponents coming into this game, and we was blessed not to be injury prone going into an important conference game like this. And, the guys starting to get confidence. And like I say, I'm happy for them.
Well, congratulations, Coach. And as a reward, you get Alabama State next week.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, it doesn't get any easier, right?
Next question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Woody, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
I know a lot. I know a lot of the conversation gets talked about how well you guys have been playing on offense, but I want to talk about your defense. You guys have been giving up, obviously, some yards, and you guys gave up 34 points in this last game. When you guys go up against an opponent like Alabama State, with their multiple nature of being able to run and pass, schematically, what are the things that you guys are looking at as a staff initially to be able to control some of the action that Alabama State's going to bring your way on offense?
Well, we have to be disciplined. Coach Robinson, a lot of respect for him. He's going to have those guys ready, and he got them executing at a high level. Got to have and be intent to want to do the little things right. Got to have good eyes, got to play with good technique and fundamentals, and that's what it's all about. And like I said, those guys are getting better, but we're working on our technique and fundamentals, and you have to be sound, to stop a offense like that. I mean, because they got some really good players up front and on the perimeter and the backfield, so it's gonna be a tough game.
Well, Coach, congrats on the win again, and good luck to you as you guys head to Montgomery.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach Woody. How you doing?
Good, and yourself?
I'm great, thank you.
Good.
I just want to talk a little bit about your offense because it really seems to be humming really well this season, especially with Cameron Ransom at the helm. Can you talk a little bit about your balanced offense this year, and your players and how they're gelling and how that's working in your favor towards competing well in the SWAC?
Well, I just think what happens is you got to go back and evaluate what you do in all aspects, and I think just the simplicity of what we're doing and how we're doing it is a big key to get that offense going the way it's going. And it's not about what the coaches know, it's about what the players know, and I think we've made it less complex, and now the guys are understanding it and they're playing fast.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck.
Thank
next
you.
week.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Mr. White.
So everybody wants to talk about the quarterback matchup in your upcoming game against Alabama State. I want to talk about your big playability from your receiving core, mainly Javon Ross. I ask all the coaches every week about their young players. Javon Ross is a young player that's jumped off the screen recently. Can you tell us about him?
Well, he's not big in stature, but he's tough as nails now. I mean, he's a guy that's gonna be to practice before it starts, and then he's gonna leave after practice over, and then come back and watch film. And he's just one of those guys that he's a local guy. Really excited about him. I mean, he plays bigger than what he is, but he's a smart guy too. And one thing about him, he's a selfless player, and that's what I love about him. It doesn't matter who gets the credit, and for him, just getting that confidence, getting his first college, touchdown, that's going to keep giving him confidence to want to be better and better each week.
All right, Coach. Thank you. Good luck against Alabama State this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Marvin Nichols from MTMV Sports. Good morning, Coach Woody. How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing great, doing great. Just one question. Despite a couple of interceptions, Cameron Ransom delivered 2 touchdown passes and kept the offense moving. What impressed you the most about his ability to stay composed and respond after the turnovers?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, when you get, one of your players come off and say, Coach, I made the wrong read. Don't worry about it, Coach. I got your back. I mean, I got the team's back. I mean, that really, had me excited because, that young man, he wants to do everything you ask him to do. And sometimes he tries too hard. But for him to tell me that, hey, Coach, I understand the whys, and that's what you want to know. Do you understand the whys? And he said, yes, I do. And he, like I said, he came back and showed composure and led us to a victory.
Yes, well, he's an outstanding player, and seems like everything is going so much better for you this season. And so, congratulations on this win, and good luck to you this
Thank
coming
you.
weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach. Good morning to you.
How you doing, Mr. Miller?
I'm good. Coach, last season against Alabama State, you got out to a fast start, but came out in the second half to a slow start, somewhat similar to this year against Alabama A&M game last week. What are you doing to come out in the second half to get off to a better start? What needs to happen there?
Well, we have to make the adjustments, and we have to win the middle eight. We have to finish strong. When we come out, we understand you learn from your mistakes, and you got to capitalize. We put these guys in situations throughout practice, so we can see how they respond. It's situational ball, so that's what we've been talking about since spring and throughout the summer. And those guys, they're going to get all different type of situations every day.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
All right. Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, Mr. King.
Wanted to kind of just follow up on a question about your offense, which has kind of been the topic of discussion. Now, over this past 3-game stretch, you're 2-1, and that unit is averaging 39 points a contest. And you mentioned earlier about simplicity and things of that nature. So my question is it the performance that you're seeing, is it what you envision when you put these pieces together, or has their performance during this stretch exceeded even your expectations?
No, very much so. We know that, obviously with young guys, a mixture with returning guys, what we can be, the identity part of it, we've been talking about it since spring. We want to be able to run the ball, we want to be able to throw the ball. And right now, we're progressing. We're not there yet, but we're getting better each day, and it shows. So we expect the things that we're doing, but we want to be better.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck against Alabama State. And like I said earlier, it doesn't get any easier in the SWAC.
Oh, no. I love the SWAC, and like I said, I know Coach Robinson, great coach. He's going to have his guys ready.
All right, good luck.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Florida A&M and Coach Colsey. Once again, if you do have questions, we ask that you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. We ask you please limit your questions to one initial question. If we have additional time and our coaches' availability, we will work our way back around to get additional questions answered.
Hey, Andrew, this is Dennis. Let's give Coach a minute or two. If not, we'll need to move it to the end of the call due to him being at the service for Trooper gains.
Absolutely. So we can actually rotate Coach to 12:05. Appreciate that, Dennis. So we'll actually pause here momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back approximately 10:55 with Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Thank you for your patience. Once again, we will have Coach Colsey now join us at 12:05 Central. And at 10:55, we'll be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Thank you for your patience. Once again, if you do have questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Already several questions there. So please limit your questions to one initial question. If we've got additional time, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. All right, with that being said, we're happy to be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Good morning, Coach.
Morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Prairie View A&M.
Well, take our hats off to PV. Coach Jackson's got a very fine ball club up there. We didn't play our best ball, but it happens. It happens. We got to be better. Stopping the run, we got to be better and not turning the ball over. It just didn't work our way. And I'm telling you, I thought we had a great week of practice, but you get judged by these games, and we didn't come through with it. So we're back in here today to focus on ourselves this week, and then try to fix some of the things and not leave some of the bad plays on film. And not be a repeat offender. So take our hats off to PV. We didn't play our best game, but it doesn't matter. They won the game, and we got to do better. We can't let them beat us twice.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Matt Billinson.
Good morning, Coach. I'm just curious, when you look back through the film, what offensively led you guys to start the game such a slow start? I mean, you guys had 6 3-and-outs, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, we we're getting some unscouted looks, and it takes us time for us to get going with it. But that's on me. I gotta do a better job to just getting generic plays that it's good for any front. And we want to identify the box on our run game, and they did some different things. So we gotta make plays also. Like we gotta make those catches, and we gotta get a hat on a hat. So we gotta do better. Of executing, but I got to do a better getting the plays called, better plays called.
Zay had done a really good job for the first couple of weeks of, taking care of the football. Obviously, the 3 interceptions hurt. I guess just what do you feel like Prairie View did, pass defense wise to cause some confusion there?
Drop 8. You don't see much drop 8. Drop 8. When you're releasing 4 receivers, everybody looks covered. And we spoke to him all week about taking quick. But anytime you pat the ball and drop 8, they got you, because that's what they want you to do. Because now the receivers, we have to do a better job with the receivers when they do see drop 8, when they find grass, to just stop. Because, you actually need to do an over route and get to the opposite hash, but somebody's standing on that hash. So why run and get covered? So I have to do a better job. Offensive, we got to do a better job with our skilled kids when we get drop 8, because this is a copycat league. We're going to see it again. So we met with Zay yesterday. We're going to meet with Zay again today. We got to do a better job with it. That's on me.
Next question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Joseph, good to talk to you again. I know it was a tough game for you guys. 4 turnovers, just getting 266 yards of total offense. And you talked a little bit about schematically what Prairie View was doing to you guys. But as you get into this bye week, what in specifics are you guys going to need to do to turn not just your offense around, but also being able to develop more explosive plays in your offense as you get ready for a Texas Southern team on the 11th?
Yeah, we got to do a better job, like I said, of just getting a better game plan. That's a generic, because it's week to week in this conference that you see something one week, and then the next week they're doing something different. So we got to get them ready for the unscouted look. So we got to have plays that it's good against everything. And when you're dealing with a young team, we got young skill kids. At one point in the game, we got 3 redshirt freshmen and a sophomore quarterback, and redshirt freshman at running back. So we got to help them. We got to help them. We got to help them with the play calling, and to get us to start fast. But like I said, that when you lose around here, it's on me. It's on me. I take accountability. I know people get tired of me saying it's on me, but I'm the head coach. So I got to do a better job with this entire football team when we lose games like this and we don't play our best game, especially after the week we had a preparation. I thought was one of the best weeks we ever had since I've been here, but it just didn't show on the field on game day.
Oh, Coach, always good to talk to you. We'll talk next week. Enjoy the bye week.
I appreciate it.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach. A tough week this week. I appreciate you taking full responsibility for the loss. Question on Prairie View was able to run the ball at a very decent clip, 6.1 yards a carry. Do you think the turnovers attributed for them having the ball as much as they did and were able to convert over and over again in the run game?
Oh, I think, we definitely wasn't, we didn't gap it out. We didn't do that. So we also have to make sure that we in our gaps, that we're in our gaps, because like I said, everybody's, trying to run the ball us, and everybody's going to run the ball if we let them. So we got to do a better job as a staff of making sure that we have it gapped out. And the turnovers came, it's drop 8. It was tough for him. It was tough. I just remember when Dave Aranda used to do it to Joe Barrow, and it was hard because you're looking and it's 8 people back there, and you got 3 or 4 people running routes, so everybody looks crowded, looks covered. And so now we got to find grass. So like I said, we got to do a better job, but I'm always going to take responsibility because, a loss is not the end of the world. And I want Grambling fans to know that. It's not the end of the world, but it's something that we need to fix, and we're going to get it fixed.
All right, Coach. Thank you for your time. Good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach Joseph.
Good morning.
I hope you are well. I wanted to talk a little bit about Sept. He did have 3 interceptions for this particular game. Can you talk a little bit about your choice to stick with him and moving forward? Do you plan on still utilizing him as QB1 or maybe switching it up a little bit?
No, Sept's our guy. Once he's our guy. He struggled. It's one game. He struggled one game. So I'm not going to pull him. I probably should have put Ash in, but I was going to see if he can play through it. He can play through it. It's a little different. College football. He's the highest paid probably on the team. So he's got to learn how to play through it. His first time seeing drop 8. In live bullets. And it does give you problems. And we like I said, we got to get a better game plan for him, and he has to play better. He understands that. But no, he's our guy. He's a guy that'll start next week, and he's a guy that that we got to stick with. We can't play musical chairs with this quarterback room.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry. How you doing?
Super fantastic, Coach. Your offense is ranked 2nd in the conference under Xavier Sept. So that is a really good indication of your decision there to stick with him. I want to talk about your special teams, though, Coach. The last few games, there have been some miscues there. What are you going to do in that aspect?
Well, I met with Coach Ricard yesterday. We'll meet with him again today. We're going to have a competition. We're going to do more competition, with the snap. Peyton had 1 bad snap last year. He had 2 on Saturday night. I should have had Greg Rivera ready to go when he had the first bad snap. They got to do what they're coached to do on special teams. I thought we covered kickoffs well. I thought the punt was bad. It was bad. We had a thing with Johnny, and he said, Johnny, if you don't get the look, you got to punt it. And he didn't punt it. He want to punt it, but his pressure came. It's bad communication. But you know what? He said it yesterday that they have to play better. I understand that. And every time they go on the field, people only remember their mistakes. If you miss a field goal, they're going to remember that. If you don't cover the kick, they're going to remember that. So we're going to do a better job with our specialists this week, with our snappers and our punters. And we won't be, like I said, we won't be repeat offenders on that.
You had a couple of drops this season too, Coach, on punts. Talk about that.
We're going to switch out the punt returner.
Good luck, Coach. Thank you.
Like I said, Perry, I love you to death. I love your energy, man. But you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids, and you got to do your best with them. But when you got to hold their hand to the fire, they understand. They understand that. They know we'll make a change. So we're gonna make a change there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Several questions still in the queue. We're running short on time, so please limit your questions to 1 question. If we've got any time, we'll work our way back. Next question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Hey, Coach. It's Marvin Nichols from MTMV Sports. How you doing this morning?
Good, Marva. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Quick question. Prairie View rushed for 224 yards and 4 touchdowns, which created challenges for your defense. On the other side of the ball, your offensive line they didn't allow a sack or even gave your quarterback. They gave him time to operate. So how do you balance the need to tighten up your run defense while recognizing the progress of your offensive line, especially after last year? We know that Crawley really didn't have a lot of time to throw, right? This year we saw that Tisa had plenty of time to throw, but really didn't make good of it.
Well, defense, we're going to look at the scheme, but, also we always talk about being your gaps. They got to be in their gaps. They got to do what the coaches ask them to do. If we surfing backside, then you got to surf backside. We say get up the field, then get up the field. You got pullers, and we tell, hey, the DN, you go with the pullers, and the linebacker, you go with the quarterback. You got to do. They got to do what they're coached to do. So we're going to have a correction period tomorrow. And we're going to ask them, like, what were you coached to do? So we're going to go back to practice and show them doing it the right way. Then we're going to pull a game film up and show them. So we're going to ask them, like, can you not handle this pressure? Can you not handle this? If you can't handle this pressure, we need to know, because I don't need just practice players. I need game players. People say, oh, he's a gamer, he don't practice well. Well, I don't want you to practice well, then on Saturday you play bad. That don't exist with me. I think if you practice good, you need to play, but you need to do what the coach is telling you to do. And as far as the offensive line not giving it the sack, yeah, I was impressed with that, but they was only rushing 3, so he had time. But that's when he has to get the ball out quick, though. You can't push it down the field because they're dropping 8. So we want to get the ball out. So yes, they're doing a great job. We got to do a better job in the defensive run with the box and stopping the run. But I got faith in those guys. Those guys gonna get it fixed. They went here yesterday. They understand that. But we got to just put our head down and focus on us this week and fix us, and then get ready for Texas Southern.
Well, we look forward to seeing you guys on October 11th.
Look forward to seeing you.
Okay.
All right.
Last question goes to Zach Richardson. Last question goes to Zach. All right. Last question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Joseph, how you doing today?
Doc, how you doing?
I'm doing good. In games past, you had kept Sept under a certain amount of pass attempts.
Yes.
This past weekend on Saturday, he threw 43 passes, but not enough as far as to convert into passing yards. What are some things you want to try to adjust with him as far as when it comes to the passing game to go back to limit his passes between like 20 to 25 pass attempts?
Yep, I like you because you understand football. That's his limit, between 20 and 25. We got to throw it over 30 times. That means we're behind, but we got to be efficient on the ones that we need to hit. Like, we can't have drops. We got to be where the quarterback needs you to be, and he's got to get the ball out of his hand. So, like I said, I'll take full blame for this, but we're going to go back and fix this thing schematic-wise, and he'll be a better player when he comes back next week. His first time seeing drop 8, it was weird to him. It was weird, but he has to listen to what we're telling him during the week. Like, you're not going to be able to push this ball down the field sometimes. You're going to have to get it underneath and let him run for it. Let him run for it. So he's a smart kid. He understands what's going on. And like I said, he holds himself accountable before I do. Because right after the game, he was saying, you know what, Coach Mick, this on me. I'm like, no, I'm the leader of this group. I can take it. I'm a big boy. And I, I don't wear my feelings on my sleeve, and I don't want him to do either. Like I said, he played bad. I remember Drew Brees played bad before. It's just like one game. It's one game, and we got to get him better, because it's a copycat lead. He's going to see drop 8 again, because that's how they contained him with drop 8. Because if you're going to give him drop 6, he's going to light you up. So drop 8, he's got to be a better quarterback. But it goes by reps. He's a sophomore. He's a true sophomore. He's 20 years old. So it goes by reps. And now he have the reps. He understands. So we'll get him better this week, and he'll be ready to go Sunday when we start preparing for Texas Southern.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, next we go over to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Once again, if you do have any questions for Our coaches, please utilize that raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question. If we do have additional time, we'll work our way back around to get additional questions answered. All right, with that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alcorn State.
Yes, we had an exciting game on Saturday against Alcorn in the Southern Heritage Classic. Highly competitive game. We knew it would come down to fourth quarter, two evenly matched teams, and we were able to come out with the victory. So excited about that.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Hampton, good morning to you, and congrats on a great win and a great game.
Appreciate it.
So now that you do have this win and you're starting off the SWAC 1-0, I know Christian Peters, he threw for 323 and he scored that game-winning touchdown. What are the specific things that changed for him this week, throwing for so many yards that he hadn't been able to do before? And then also with that, moving forward into this next game against Texas Southern, how are you going to be able to build this now into consistency for him moving forward?
Well, I mean, we're just running our offense. If you go back and watch the games we played previously, we're doing the same stuff. He's a smart young man. He's a grad transfer. He's highly competitive. He don't get rattled easily. And he played well against Texas Tech. He played well against UCA. And so it doesn't surprise us that he was able to throw the ball. We kind of just taking what the defense gives us. Alcorn did a really good job, man, mixing it up, sending pressure at him. He was able to get away from it. But it's just another stepping stone for us as we continue to build moving forward. But Christian, this week, man, is another opponent, so he's got to get back to work. Texas Southern, really good football team, and do a lot of things on defense, and we got to be prepared for it.
All right, Coach, congrats again, and good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach. Big win.
Appreciate it.
Coach, let's talk about Kareem Burke and his impact on this team. You always keep a good wide receiver. Talk about him and his play.
Kareem Burke's a really good football player. Young man transferred from a SWAC opponent a couple of years ago when I first got the job here. Last year we thought we had the two best receivers in the league, but he got hurt. He wasn't able to perform the way he should have. But this year he's leading that unit. But we have, like I said, some young guys on the outside that he's bringing along, and Coach Hull and the offensive staff, they're doing a good job, man, coaching the guys up. And so we're excited about Kareem. First couple games, man, he had dropped a lot of contested catches. In this game, he was able to make some of those catches. So it just shows the improvement. And, his attitude's been really good every day in practice. And so it was good to see him make some of those catches and against some tight coverage.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach Hampton. How you doing?
Good morning. Good. Doing well.
That's good to hear. Can you talk a little bit about your offense? I see you had 7 receivers that got touches, and Christian Peters, he had 323 yards. It looks like you had a decent rush game. Can you talk a little bit about UAPB's offense and how it's developed for the season?
I mean, obviously, Coach Hull and his offensive staff, they're building off of what we had in place last year. Again, I said I thought this football team had a lot of depth. We were able to run the ball, able to throw the ball, got some really good tight ends, really good receivers, and the quarterback's a pretty good football player. So we just continue to develop and continue to grow within the system, and coach will continue to give those guys more and more as we continue to move forward. But it's exciting to see them play the way they're able to do it, and to be able to take that last drive down there and get us a score, and then be able to end the game, without having to punt the ball and give them one more opportunity to win. So that's, important to us, and our guys are believing. They got a lot of confidence. So we've got to continue to work and come to practice every day with the right attitude and just win the day.
Good luck this week with your game against Texas Southern.
All right, appreciate it.
Question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. So you guys have now won back-to-back games for the first time since you've been the head coach here. As you're building this program and trying to build this thing up, what's the biggest step going from learning how to win a game to then being able to put together a streak of wins? What's the biggest step that these guys need to take to be able to go on a streak?
Well, I'll be honest, Tanner, we don't even talk about a streak. We talk about winning the day. When you're building a program, man, every single day has its own issues, its own challenges. And so when we walk in this building, I tell the coaches, man, don't worry about what happened yesterday. Let's just win this day, put one foot in front of the other. And you tell our players, man, they've done a really good job. We're just trying to build confidence within our program, within our university and our football team. And the way you do that is the way you prepare and self-talk. And so we're telling the kids how good they are. We're telling them to visualize yourself making plays, visualize yourself making A's in the classroom, visualize yourself being a leader in the community. And so what we've been able to do is to do that consistently. And now as you win a game, if you win 2 games, now that's the expectations. And we talk about having a competitive stamina, which means regardless of how I feel or regardless of how the day may go, I still have to put forth the effort to be able to win that day. And so that's what you're seeing in our program. We're not worried about trying to stack wins. We're just worried about winning the day. And when you can consistently win the day, you're going to have more wins than losses. And that's even about life in general. And so that's what we're building here. We're building men, we're mentoring them. And so we're headed in the right direction. But we got a tough opponent this week, man. So we got our work cut out.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
The last time I was on here, I asked you about your young players, and you gave me a couple names, but I'm looking at this receiving core, and I know you say you guys are just running the offense. They're jumping off the screen, 23 yards of reception, 35 yards of reception. Can you tell me about your young receiving core and how they've been developing over the season?
Well, you got, Coach Ingram, Pierre Ingram, guy who was a Power 5 coach. He's been overseas in Japan the last 10 years. We're able to get him back. Him and Coach Hall, he actually, they worked together a long time before, and they kind of grew up in this system together, the old air raid system. And so, man, this guy is one of the best hires I've made, does a really good job. He's really detailed. I tell people, man, we normally turn out the lights between me, him, and Coach Hall. I don't know, man, what time we leave. We probably don't get very much sleep, but I love it. And so what you're seeing is all the work that he's putting in behind the scenes with these young men. And I'll be honest, we got a couple more guys. We're probably going to get ready to give them an opportunity in the next, couple weeks because they're earning the trust in practice. And that's what you want. You want a football team to know that if you put the work in, and your coach believe in you, you're going to get in the game. And so that's where we at as a program. We're going to continue to recruit high school players. We'll mix it in with some portal guys, but we want to build this thing the right way from inside out. And we know what it is. Once they develop, they'll obviously do what's best for them and their family. And we won't complain about it. We'll actually encourage them to do what's best for them. But, we got some really good coaches and we're coaching these guys up. And like I said, I got a couple more guys we'd love to be able to unleash pretty soon.
Well, thank you, Coach. That's going to be an exciting offense to watch, and I'll be loving to see it the rest of the season. You have a good one.
I appreciate it.
Next question goes to Troy White. Apologize, Doc Holliday.
How you doing, Coach Hampton? Congratulations on the win this weekend.
Appreciate it, Doc.
Talk about your defense. Even though they gave up the 225 yards to Jacorian Sewell, you made stops where it mattered the most. What do you see? How do you grade your defense as of right now for this season and going on?
Well, I grade them 1-0. That's what we are. We 1-0. We played a really, really good running back, and that young man on the other side of the ball. Coach Thomas is doing a good job with his program, and we knew going into it we had to be able to stop the run, and we were right there a lot of times, and guys just we didn't have gap integrity at times. Guys not doing their job, so we got to be able to correct some things, and we'll simplify it because we got another great running back coming this week. We got to be able to stop, and so that's the frustrating part about it. When you got guys and their coaches doing a really good job calling the defense, and man, we got guys wide open just to make the play, couldn't make it. The running back, he was just better, and so we got to be able to make sure we're rallying to the ball. But at the end of the day, we were winning at half, and then at the end of the game, we were winning. So that's how I grade the defense. It's all about wins. It's not about nobody really cares if you got the number one defense and you lose all your games, right? So the object is to win the game. We played great, complimentary football. Offense scored when they needed to. Defense got the stops when we needed to. And special teams made the plays when they needed to. So it was a big win for our program.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Next question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach Hampton. How are you?
How you doing, Ms. Nichols? Good morning.
I'm doing well. Congratulations on your win over Alcorn. And I just want to say you are a ball of energy, and we really like what we're seeing from your program this season thus far. Now, Coach, your defense allowed just 7 points on 4 Alcorn State red zone trips and came up with key plays, including Denarius Hilliard's 11 tackles and a big interception by Zach Williams. How proud are you of the defensive effort, and how important were those stops in setting the tone for closing out this victory?
Yeah, it goes back to what we kind of talked about. We don't have a star on our football team, and I like that. But we do have some guys that play well together, and we'll continue to. I really would like to play anywhere from about 22 to 25 guys on both sides of the ball because that gives your team the ability to be able to stay fresh. And they know if I come to practice every single day and do what I'm supposed to do, coach going to get me in the game. And so I've challenged my coaches before we even started spring ball. I said, man, it's your job as a coach to get as many guys in your room to play. And because it's easy to say, well, he's the best player, that's the only one I'm going to coach. That's not coaching. All right. And the high school teacher in me ain't going to allow a coach of mine to be able to say, coach, he can't learn or he can't get it. No, it's our job to make sure every young man in our program get the opportunity to play, but they also have to earn the right. Nobody's going to give it to you. And so our defense, you talk about Denarius, we're playing about 6-7 linebackers, and it's based off of how you perform in practice. And if you do a good job in practice, you get in the game. If you don't, hey, man, we're probably not going to play you because it's all about trust. We talk about trusting the coaches, but we also tell the players you got to be able to trust yourself and trust your teammates. Don't try to do things that's not for you to do. Just do your 111th on every single play, and every coach will tell you the same thing. We all speaking the same language, but it's can you do what the coach is asking you to do within the scheme at that moment when your number is called. And so that's what we're trying to do. We got to clean up a lot of things. If not, man, we'll get exposed again in the running game. And so we're looking forward to getting back on the grass tomorrow and being able to correct some of the things. But Coach Dishman, they got a really good football team, so they can run the ball, they can throw it. We got big offensive linemen, they're good on defense. So we know we got our hands full coming up this week, but we're excited about the opportunity to be able to travel down there and compete.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate it, Andrew. Y'all be blessed.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Coach. All right, now we move over to Mississippi Valley State. Coach Buckley, once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize your raise your hand feature. Get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Buckley. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's game versus Texas Southern.
Oh man, it was a tough one. It was a tale of two sides, two halves, you could say. The first half, we looked like expect us to look offensively, defensively, and some improvements on special teams. In the second half, we're not we're not closing the door like we're supposed to. Making adjustments, the attitude, just overall concept of what we're trying to do. The second half is not looking like it's supposed to look.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Buckley, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I got to go right to the fake punt.
Yes.
So first off, whose call was it to do that? And
that was mine.
Also,
That's mine. That's mine.
Okay.
Head coach.
Okay. So my question with that though is, I know obviously you guys were trying to get the first down to win the game there, but why not punt the ball and make them drive the length of the field, given the fact that they were struggling on offense most of that game?
Well, if you've noticed, and that's a good point, we talked about all that. We are struggling a little bit with our snapping. As you can see, we gave them 2 points, snapping it over our head. We've bounced the ball off the turf. All the things that goes into that decision. It wasn't just let's go for it to win the game. That was the leading thing. And they gave us the look that we wanted. You look at the tape, and there's a big hole there. One guy comes off his block and falls back to makes the tackle. So, hindsight is 20/20 like everything. I've thought about, okay, let's punt it there and make them drive the length of the field. But then when you're trying to win ball games in the heat of the moment, you make decisions, and as a competitor, we talking about competing and trying to win a ball game, you have to live with it. So hopefully we'll get that opportunity again pretty soon.
Coach, I appreciate your professionalism in this answer and allowing me to ask it for you. So good luck down there in Atlanta this week against FAMU.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, we can clearly see the improvement of this program and this team. You've got Florida A&M coming up. Talk about what you've seen on film and how you're going to prepare for that.
Well, we've seen a team that's fighting, that's clawing, that has one more win than us. So just like last week, you kind of the same boat. You got guys that's trying to get their team better, get their coaching better, every aspect of the program better. For us, you look at tape and then you always go back to how can we get better? How can we perform better? Right now, how can we finish the second half? How can we make that play in the fourth quarter? How can we stop this play? How can we make this fake successful and close out the game? So we have a lot. What you see from FAM is enough to lose some sleep over, but trying to improve this program to the point where we can go out and compete and have a chance to win every ball game, you lose a lot more sleep over. So the concern is us.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
You guys are headed to Atlanta this coming week. It does look like you have the ability to pass and run. Can you talk a little bit about your offense this year? And it looks like you utilize Josh Brown the most. Is that going to be your QB1 for this coming week?
As of right now, it looks that way. From you evaluate when you haven't won a lot of ball games, which we haven't, and you have a lot of different players. Josh is obviously stepping up and doing a tremendous job. But the bottom line, again, is improvement on and off the field, which we're doing both. But the ultimate goal is to be able to close out goals. And what Josh gives us, throwing and running, right now gives us the best option to go out and compete and earn the right to close the door and get a win.
Good luck this weekend, Coach.
Thank you.
This question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Big upcoming week against Florida A&M. I'm looking at your receiving core, and everybody wants to talk about your quarterback play, but your receiving core has been quite dynamic this week. Currently, the last game you had 2 players over 15 yards of reception. Can you tell me about your young receiving core and how they've progressed so far?
They're doing a great job. We played, it's one of those things you start out trying to play a bunch of guys. And like probably every other coach is saying, you get into the game, you're saying who can do what, who's doing what they're supposed to do on and off the field, who's committed to the process, and you narrow that down. And that's what you guys are seeing, that we are starting to narrow it down to the guys that are going to help us move forward. How they practice, all those things matters, and you're starting to see that now on both sides of the ball.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for your time. It's Miami Hate Week, so go Noles.
Go Noles. Thank you.
Next question goes to Gerald Thomas.
Hey, how you doing, Coach? Gerald Thomas from the Tallahassee Democrat.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Coach, going into this week, you're coaching against a guy, James Posey. He said you were one of the guys that he looked up to before he went off and played defensive back at Florida State like yourself. Can you talk about a little bit of that connection that y'all have maybe during y'all time in Tallahassee, or the times where he was coming in and you going out, or just in the coaching profession in general?
Well, in general, once a nose, always a nose. And the history we have there for defensive backs. So I've always been available to DBs in general, but obviously you go out your way for other nose. And Coles has reached out, I've returned, and vice versa. I've reached out and he's returned the favor and getting some of that knowledge that he has. So I'm so proud of him and really great for this opportunity for us to go out and compete. That's what we do, right? So we're going to see kind of comparing wits and how this thing works out. I'm very excited for him, for all chefs to go out and put our programs in the spotlight and see who comes out victorious.
I appreciate you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach Buckley?
Doing well. Yourself?
Listen, I wanted to follow up on you talking about Josh Brown. He had close to 350 yards just by himself, both running and passing. But just from game one to now, talk about sort of his maturation as a quarterback, because he did a tremendous job in terms of moving the chains in that game.
Well, it's one of those things, the more you play, if you have the ability, you start to see things a little different than the first week. The speed is a little bit different. Our first couple opponents, especially the 2 and 3, some of the top teams in the FCS, you see the speed, you see how it's supposed to look, and then you get somewhere else and it's not quite the same competition. It slows down for you. Now you start to see, okay, I should have made that throw there. I could make this run. And so that's what you guys are seeing, the improvement. It's slowing down for him. And now his true athletic ability with the knowledge is starting to be on display.
I appreciate you talking to me, Coach.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next question goes to Dwayne Nash.
Good morning, Coach. Dwayne Nash from the Yard HBCU Sports and Herald Sports. How are you this afternoon?
I'm well.
Well, God, technically it's the afternoon for me. I'm on the East Coast.
Yes.
I just realized that. Coach, I hope I'm not asking a repetitive question here, but what went into the decision to move a home game to Atlanta? And people tend to talk quite often about playing games in a pro stadium. Is there any preparation that goes into getting your guys ready to be playing in that type of situation?
Well, it's a bunch of factors, but the one that, to me, on the positive side is a bunch of these guys want to play at the next level. They want to know what first class looks like. the big lockers, and how does that feel? You see it on TV all the time. Well, here's the opportunity to do that. So I'm for, if this opportunity presents itself where the team can experience something that the pros experience on Sundays, I'm all for that. Now, the other stuff, being able to move it, that's the administration side. You know, we do our part as far as getting the young men ready, bringing the excitement, and what is this really about? It's this experience that you cannot get anywhere else.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Coach, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Prairie View A&M, Coach Jackson. And once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Coach, I know we're behind schedule, so we appreciate your patience. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Grambling State.
Yeah, we went up to Dallas, played in the State Fair Classic. Really, really large crowd. My first experience, a lot of our staff's first experience in that environment. So shout out to Mr. Al Walsh for getting that environment and at a high level. Played against a really good Grambling team. We were able to do some things to kind of slow them down a little bit, but we were able to run the ball. We were able to be on the plus side of the turnover margin. We still got some issues we need to fix from a special team standpoint and offensively and defensively, but I was really proud of our guys for gritting out another win. We seem to put ourselves in these tight games here at the end and then have to grit them out. And so really proud of our efforts there and proud of our staff.
Appreciate those opening comments. Coach, first question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Jackson, congrats on the win. How are you today?
Doing well, thank you.
All right, so this trip that you have coming, you guys are going to play an Alcorn team that's winless and pretty hungry. For you guys, you guys had another game where you exceeded 200 yards rushing, but you guys had your struggles again in the passing game. Last week when I asked you about the passing game, you said that it was important to get it going because it allows you to be able to excel more in the run game. So with that pass game this week going up against Alcorn, what are you guys going to specifically key in on to get that going this week?
Yeah, I just think we got to keep being us. I mean, we're going to be a physical football team. We said that all along. We got to throw the box open. I think that's what I said last week, and we attempted to. We got to connect on some things. We dropped a wide open pass, man, for a touchdown, and so we got to be better. Our players got to be better there. We got to continue to put guys in the right situations. But I'm not down on our passing game. I thought we did what we needed to do in order to win the game, and ultimately that's what we're here to do. And so we'll keep looking at some things and keep game planning in the manner that we do so we can get our guys in the best position.
Appreciate you, Coach. Good luck up there on the reservation.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach. Big win.
Thank you.
Coach, let's talk about the fourth quarter end zone interception, which would have possibly tied that game up for Grambling. After that interception, your team came out, drove the field, and closed the door by scoring a touchdown. That is championship caliber football, Coach. Talk about that.
Yeah, we challenge our guys every day to be elite and to make big time plays and big time moments. Obviously, we had put ourselves in a situation where I thought we could have closed the game out earlier than that. And so we got to that situation and we were able to do that. And you see that with a new football team. There's a lot of lessons that we're learning while being able to be successful and win the game that you normally learn and you have to suffer a loss. And so we keep trying to teach those situations. These guys can play. When they make a decision that they want to end the game, they end the game. And so we just challenge them now to make that decision earlier.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Lionel Mosby.
Hey, good morning, Coach Jackson.
Good morning.
I had a question. You mentioned it a little bit in your opening statement. It's clear to see that this team has improved week in and week out. That's something for sure that you can see. One area where you don't see that improvement specifically, I would say, is the special teams and specifically kickoff. both coverage and off of returns. I think right now averaging 17.5 yards per return. And also when you look at the starting yardage for yourself, 24-yard line, where opponents are starting at the 35-yard line, right? That's over a first down difference. What is it that you look at and say, hey, this is what we can do to improve in this kickoff coverage game? Or 5 games in, do you say, hey, this is what we are?
Yeah, I think, we continue to do things differently schematically to try to put ourselves in the best place. But ultimately, we got who we got. And so we probably can't fix the issue until December or January right now. And so we'll continue to put our guys in the best situations. We'll continue to re-personnel and get the best people on kickoff. Outside of the kickoff, our special teams have been fine. And so you look at that and you certainly want to get it fixed. Me being a defensive guy, I don't want to start on the 35-yard line. I want to start where everybody else starts. And so we want to make sure that we're putting ourselves in those good positions. And then we talk about the offensive starting position on special teams. We had some bonehead mistakes bringing the ball out. Just can't bring the ball out in that situation. And so we had some new returners back there because of some injuries that we faced. And so we just got to continue to coach and get those guys caught up on how we do things.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Jackson, how you doing today? Congratulations on your State Fair win.
Thank you.
Going into Alcorn, most people would consider this game a trap game. What do you tell your players as far as trying to keep themselves level-headed going into this game and not let themselves beat themselves?
Yeah, I tell them to watch the tape. They don't look like no trap game. They look like they can play. They haven't had the success on the scoreboard, but they're having a lot of successes in all 3 phases of the game, and they're just waiting to put it all together. Well, we got to make sure that they don't put it together on us because they are a talented football team. I think they're well coached. I think they got a dynamic running back, and we're gonna have to have an answer for the problems that he brings. And then they've got some wideouts that just hadn't been connected with, but they can run, and so. We've got our work cut out of us. We're in no position in our program at where we are today to be thinking that we're even involved in trap games. I don't even know what that is. Prairie View A&M is not. We're not in that situation where we're so much to where we're concerned about trap games. We're trying to win day to day, play to play, make sure we get this program to where we say we want it to be. And so we don't even talk about trap games with our guys. That's not a building verbiage. That verbiage shouldn't even be in our institution because we're still building and striving to get where we want to be. And we got a really good football team. First time that we're leaving Texas to go play as a program with us being here, we got enough work cut out for us to not be worried about trap games. We just need to go execute.
I appreciate you, Coach.
This question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach Jackson. How are you this morning?
Doing well. Good morning.
Yes, congratulations on your win over Grambling. And this was not only a big win over Grambling, but also the historic 100th State Fair Classic. And you achieved it in your first season leading Prairie View A&M. What does it mean to you personally and to this program to capture such a milestone victory so early in your tenure?
Yeah, I think anytime you're a part of something that's 100 years old and the pageantry and all the things that go into the game, I'll be honest with you. I didn't understand going in all the things that go into this game. It's probably one of the most distractive games I've ever been a part of with all the events and things that happen in game. But nevertheless, we were certainly glad to be a part of it. I think for us, we don't look at it as being our first win in that environment or in that classic. We're just trying to win week to week. We didn't come here to get classic game trophies. We came here to win the SWAC championship and ultimately Celebration Bowl, something that we're never going to shy away from. I think these are things that we can collect on the way. And anytime we're playing for a trophy or playing in front of a large crowd and able to show our brand, we certainly want to be able to do that. And so really proud of our guys. Our first time that these guys played in front of that many people, I think they had 61,000 or something like that. But a lot of our guys are from Dallas. A lot of guys from Dallas played well. So if that's the case, I hope we play in Dallas every weekend. because we had some guys really show up and show out. And so, but we certainly were glad to be a part of it. But it was another SWAC West game for us that it was a must win because of what our goals are and what we want to do.
Well, you all showed up grown, and congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Charles Porter.
Hey, Coach, good morning.
Morning.
Congratulations. Big win for Panther Nation. You just keep on rolling. Last week, we talked about the running back room, which obviously is great. I mean, those guys have really come to class. Lamaje McDowell did a great job, and Chase Bingham. Man, I tell you, we can't say too much about them. But your defense this week really complemented your offense. They were able to make some great stops towards the end of the game, and you guys really played with poise. How do you keep that energy going into this week's game against Alcorn?
I think our players are growing on defense. They're understanding exactly. We play a little different style of defense here. It's no secret. Everybody's seen it by now. But I think there's some things, some verbiage and things that we say and things that we do in practice that are just different from a lot of people. And I think our players are finally starting to understand that. And it takes time. You know, we're in month 9 or going into month 10. We're not in year 2 or year 3. And so things are a lot different. A lot of guys that we have on our team did not go through spring ball. And so what you're seeing is a maturation of really from August to now and what it takes to get a football team ready to play. And our guys are starting to do better in understanding the way that we go about our business. And so been really proud of them. Athletically, defensively, you know, we're not a great big group, but we can run a little bit. And I think they're understanding how to use their skill set within the schemes of what we do. And I think our coaches are putting our guys in better position to feature what they do. And so everybody is still learning everybody. And again, man, I said once before, we're going to write a book of teaching people how to win while trying to win, because we certainly don't have the time to wait to win these games and to compete for championships.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Again, congratulations. Great Panther moment this weekend.
Thank you. Go Panthers.
Coach, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week. All right, next we go over to Southern University and Coach Graves. Once again, if you do have questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Drew. How are you?
Good, great, Coach. And we are behind schedule, so we appreciate your patience. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Oh, yes. Last weekend, man, was great. It was a great atmosphere. The weather was great here in Baton Rouge. The Jaguar Nation showed up and showed out, sold the place out. You know, the atmosphere was electric. I thought, you know, it was typical Southern Jackson State atmosphere. Thought we prepared well, you know, the last couple of weeks to take on a very good Jackson State football team. We started off well for the most part, and then we you know, shot ourselves in the foot. And you can't do that against the good football teams. And so it's been something that's been an Achilles heel, so to speak, all season. We thought we, you know, went in with great game plans, and we just didn't execute well all the time. And hats off to Coach T.C. Taylor and Jackson State. Those guys did what they needed to do to win the football game. And so, you know, we're definitely disappointed that we did not get the win, but we're going to keep working and we're going to keep pushing and playing because, you know, we got to get ready. This season is long from over, and we're going to continue to work to accomplish the goals that we set forth.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Graves, good morning to you. Tough loss for you guys this week. I specifically want to talk and ask about, you guys had 13 penalties in the game, and I thought the turning point of the game was the running into the kicker on the punt in the end zone towards the end of the first half. On that play, did you guys call for a rush on the punter? And if so, what was the thinking into that?
No, it wasn't. We actually had a return set up, and that's a true freshman, a young man who's a tremendous football player. He's a multiple state champion. We're fortunate to have him. You know, he went out and he did what he's supposed to do. He just he took the wrong angle, and a la, he ran into the kicker, but that wasn't the turning point of the ball game. The turning point of that's highlighted, and all that will always be highlighted because the outcome. Had we won the game, that wouldn't be a topic of discussion. The biggest thing that happened before that was we were in the red zone and we threw an interception in the end zone. We threw an interception in the end zone, then the punt, running into the kicker, and then we blew the coverage right before halftime. And so those three things were the turning point of the ball game for us. And again, that's a teaching moment. It's a young man that we know he's a tremendous player. He's out there playing as a true freshman, playing in a game of that magnitude. Typically, he doesn't do that. Again, aiming points and those things. We had a return set up, and unfortunately, he took a bad angle and he ran into the kicker, and it was a 5-yard penalty, and it was 4th and 5. So that's what gave him the ball back, which led to their score. That gave him the lead right at halftime. So again, we're gonna continue to teach and coach and learn and grow from those things.
Appreciate that, Coach. I know you guys have a bye week this week again, so we'll talk next week.
All right. Take care.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm super fantastic, Coach. I want to say some things for the Jaguar Nation here, then ask a question about that blown coverage. So you've lost 3 FCS games to Alabama State, Jackson State, and North Carolina Central, all 3 teams that may compete for the HBCU National Championship. Let's go to the blown coverage and your safety play overall in this game, Coach. What happened there? It looked like you were supposed to be in cover 3, and your safety allows somebody to run by him in the middle of the field.
Well, 2 things happened. The play before I think they ran an over route, and I think he jumped that. And then it was just a blown coverage. It was blown coverage by a guy that's a veteran, which is uncharacteristic. And then we had a redshirt freshman back there. But our starting safety, Horatio Johnson, our captain back there, he was pulled from the game because of a medical issue. And that really hurt us because he was the guy that we were depending on heavily back there to make sure that we, make sure everybody's aligned, everybody's where they're supposed to be. And not having him in that moment really changed some things. And for the rest of the game, because we had to play with 2 redshirt freshmen on the back end because of some injuries. But that's what happened, and it's unfortunate, but we can't do anything about it. We got to go forward with that.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Graves, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. Let's talk about the penalties, which was a lot on both teams, but you had 13 penalties for 111 yards. The penalties took away a lot away from the game, where you could have moved the ball forward against the Jackson State defense. What's the things you'll try to do to improve in your bye week before you go to your next game on the 11th?
Well, we're going to continue to do what we've always done. We run for those penalties. We ramp it up. The thing that again, the penalties that really get us and really drives me is the pre-snap penalties, and we had a number of those on Saturday. And of course, we're playing some young people in some spots, and then it's just focus and concentration at the end of the day. You got to focus in, you got to lock in, you got to concentrate. Those penalties, we had extremely too many of those. The other penalties, like I said all the time, those are judgment calls. We looked at, the defensive holding, the defensive pass interference. I think, defensive holding. The holding call was a legitimate holding call, but some of those other things, and then face mask. the face masking penalties, that means that we got to get our hands in the right place. Those are techniques when we're tackling. You got to get your hands in the right place. You gotta shoot your hands and run instead of reaching and grabbing. And those are the things that we're gonna constantly work on, like we did previously, and we do every day and every week. We got to make sure that those guys understand those things like that are killer. But we can't start behind the chains. We had false starts by tight ends, guys that's played, been here at least 2 years, and just to go out and to just for whatever reason just not being focused. Those are the things that really drive us, and we're gonna really continue to pay attention to detail. An aggressive penalty, like I said, defensive pass interference or defensive holding. You're always telling the guys to, make sure that you get in them and get in phase, make sure that you're not holding, make sure that you get your head around and all those things. Those are judgment calls. And so I know TC says the same thing. You stress it, you discipline them, you run them and you teach it. But you want these guys to play hard and fast. So sometimes that's gonna happen. But again, we got to eliminate the pre-snap stuff.
Thank you for your time, Coach. Great answer.
All right.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Nah, you good, Andrew.
I apologize. Next question goes to Troy Lloyd Brown.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, TJ?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Yeah, just a question on I guess a less heralded player. Zach Yassine, redshirt senior D tackle. I guess how special or I guess impactful has he been? Someone that's waited his turn at the program. I think he's been there since 2022, and now is been a starter since the season opener, and is also a leader for the team. I guess how special is it to have a player like him?
Well, you always want guys to be leaders, especially guys that's been around. But we don't really uh, consider guys that's been around. Those guys are solely the leaders of the team. We want leadership to come from the guys that first got here to the guys that's been here. But he's worked, he's waited, he's worked, he's been playing the last few years. He's doing a good job for us, and it's always good when you got experienced guys that have gone through the system, gone through seasons of what we're doing. It helps. Experience is great, and him being a guy that's been around here 3 years has been helpful for what we're doing up front defensively.
Got it. Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach. This is Marvin Nichols from MTMV Sports. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm well. Coach, I want to talk about something positive. Your team came out with energy, grabbing a 13-10 lead in the second quarter and hitting a huge 73-yard touchdown run by Trey Holly. What did you see from your offense early that gives you confidence about their ability to create explosive plays moving forward?
Well, I thought the coaching staff and the players did a great job of executing the game plan. They saw some things they were doing. They did a great job. I thought the offensive coaches did a really good job of in-game adjustments. They saw some things that we could take advantage of, and the offensive line and the quarterback and the running backs, of course, were in sync, and we took advantage of something that we seen, and we executed. And once Trey gets the ball in his hand, he's dynamic, he's explosive, and he knows how to find the end zone. I really, even though we're playing some musical chairs up front with the offensive line because of some injuries, those guys are the young guys, the freshman guys, redshirt freshman guys, along with the juniors and seniors. Those guys are really working well, and they're communicating and they're talking, something that we weren't doing early on. Those guys are really understanding they have to communicate because they have to be more in sync than any other position on the field. And those guys doing a good job with that, and it was good to see that.
Well, keep pushing through, and good luck to you next couple of weeks.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take one quick final question from Troy White.
Good morning, Coach, or good afternoon, Coach. I'm sorry.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. The pass defense coming into the season had expected to be the strongest point of your defense this year. And against this Jackson State team, in the first half, the defense played really sound. The second half, it kind of got away from you, especially on third down conversions. Can you tell me the adjustments you guys are going to make going forward to improve this pass defense?
Well, hopefully we'll get some guys back. Unfortunately, some of the guys we had early on in preseason and the first couple games, those guys are, they're out for the season. But nobody's gonna feel sorry for us because everybody has injuries. And so what we're gonna have to do is, because we have to play some younger guys and we have to play some guys that may not have had a lot of experience. What we have to do as coaches is we have to come up with things creative and schematically enough that those guys can execute and execute well. Sometimes regardless of you have a scheme of what you want to do and how you want to do it, but then there's those things called adjustments that you just like in life, and those guys we have to adjust. We can't go out there with the mindset we're gonna do the same things that we do when we're healthy. We gotta, we got some bumps and bruises, so we gotta play some guys, and until they get the experience and get caught up to the speed, we're gonna have to do some things that help them and help them to be successful. But I'm confident that we will do it. I'm confident in what we can do with those guys. I believe in this team. I believe in this coaching staff, and having this open date before we play a really good Bethune-Cookman football team. I think we'll be ready to go, and we'll do some things that will be able to help us. Because as you said, game of that magnitude with those young guys, just I'm wondering. I was wondering, like, man, what are you looking at? But then you got to remember, he's a redshirt freshman. He's a true freshman. A game of that magnitude, you hope that they'll be able to, handle that. But as in life, those are growing pains. We're going to deal with them. We're going to learn from them. We're going to correct them, and we're going to keep going forward.
All right. Thank you, Coach. You have a good one.
Thank you.
Coach, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you. Go Jags.
Thank you. All right, we're behind schedule, so next we'll have Coach Dishman, and then we will wrap up with Coach T.C. Taylor. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Dishman with Texas Southern University. Good morning, Coach. I believe you're on mute, Coach. Yep, got you.
Good afternoon. I'm not going to hold you guys long. I have to
Yes,
run
sir.
here
Yes,
in
sir.
a few minutes. So
Go ahead. You can start us out. Thank you.
it was two teams fighting for the first victory, and we played to the last couple of minutes for us to get that victory. They're a well-coached team over there. I think T-Buck is doing a hell of a job over there. It's going to get this team rolling.
All right, we'll get this started quickly. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach, all right, so we'll go right here to the final sequence. 2 minutes ago, you guys get a fake punt, and then you get the shot play down to Leary. First off, were you ready for the fake punt? And then how do you see this final drive going to get this win as a turning point for your team where you guys are?
Well, that's decision the head coach made. I think if I was in that same situation, I would probably done the same thing of trying to get the ball back as fast as possible to my team. So, but as we go out on the field, we always tell our players, watch the fake, and in case something happened, they did.
All right, Coach.
Next question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good afternoon, Coach. You guys had 145 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns against Valley. You guys have done a pretty good job running the ball this year. How have you felt about the way that unit has played, and how do you feel they match up against the run defense of UAPB?
Well, the strength is our running attack. We run the ball to pass, and so the strength is our running backs. They're very good. They're very good guys. They're on and off the field. They're one of our leaders, a couple of our leaders on the team.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach Dishman. How are you doing?
I'm fine, ma'am. You?
I'm good, thank you. I had a quick question. I see that KJ Cooper, he did have 161 yards passing. One of the things I wanted to hone in on is, though, that in terms of rushing, he had 60 yards gain and then a 53 loss. Can you talk a little bit about I guess maybe protecting the quarterback or keeping him in the pocket more and reducing that amount of loss rushing yards?
Well, anytime you always have to protect the quarterback. You know, he's the guy that have to be able to run your offense, and if you can't protect the quarterback, you're on for a long day. So we always have to protect the quarterback, no matter if it's KJ, Pop, or whoever's back there, or Carter. We have to protect them and make sure they can get the ball to our playmakers. Our playmakers, our receivers outside, are getting the ball to our running back. So as much as we can protect them and keep them upright, the better chance we have a chance of winning the game.
Last question goes to Troy White.
Good afternoon, Coach. I'm going to get right to it. You guys won a close, hard battle. How does it feel to win a close game going into SWAC play?
Well, it feels great. You know, it was good for our players. It was good for our program. Knowing that we can fight back and battle and come up with a victory. You know, we had a game similar in the year we didn't win, and now to come back to win one is feel good for our program and for our guys.
All right, Coach, you have a great day. I look forward to more progress from you guys.
Sounds good, General.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, next we're going to go over to Jackson State and Coach T.C. Taylor. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Taylor with Jackson State. And Coach, apologies for the delay. We're behind schedule, but we appreciate your patience.
Hey, no problem. Thank you.
Yes, sir. If you could open us up with a statement, Coach, regarding your team's most recent outing at Southern.
It was a good weekend for our football team. You know, to go on the road down in Baton Rouge. The stadium was full. You know, you talk about the Boombox Classic. Great atmosphere down there, but it was all about getting that first conference win and, you know, winning on the road for us. Great football game, though. I thought Coach Graves and his staff did an excellent job of getting those guys motivated coming out to play. You know, and they came out and played well. But our football team did a good job responding. I thought we didn't play our best football in the first quarter, and we knew that they were dealing with some injuries, you know, on the back end of their secondary, and it was opportunity we could take advantage of in that football game. And our receivers stepped up to and answered the call. Jacoby and Morgan played a great football game. I can't say enough about him, you know, coming out in that type of atmosphere and responding. You know, the critics have been tough on him all year about his play thus far in this season, but he responded and played well. Defense played well. Trey Holly is a special player. Let me say that. Their running back at Southern. He is a special football player. He can run the ball well. He did his thing out there, but very pleased with our defense. We were able to hold them to 13 points in that football game and found a way to separate in the second half.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach TC, how are you today? Congrats on the win.
Thanks. How you doing, Mr. Cartwright?
I am doing well. Jacoby and Morgan, 337, 2 TDs, no turnovers. That was excellent. But what I want to start with you today is 13 penalties. And I know you have been talking about discipline and trying to get these penalties under control. Now, I'll admit some of the penalties were, but for some of the ones that were penalties, what is the process that you're continually undertaking with this squad to get them to be more disciplined, to not commit some of these self-inflicted penalties?
Well, we brought them in yesterday, and if you was out there yesterday, it wasn't a pretty day for them yesterday, you know, following that win. You know, we just got to continue to discipline. But it's been a heavy, you know, penalized season for the league in general. And, you know, we just got to be smart and more disciplined. That's what I told our players on yesterday. I did a cut up for them and talked about, you know, hand placement on certain things, the jumping offside, stuff like that, just the little things like that where you leaving in the referee's hands. We can't do that. You know, we got to be better at it. The one blessing I will say behind it, though, that whole deal is, you know, we were a good enough team to overcome it. But, you know, I told them down the road when you get in the month of October, early November, you know, these things can cost you in a football game. Right now, we're able to overcome those 10 penalty games, but we got to get better. But I got to continue to just stress it with this football team. You know, they're playing hard. They're playing extremely hard. The players are, and, you know, the coaches are coaching hard, but it's just something I just got to continue to preach hourly and day in, day out with this football team.
No problem. And just for the record, 97 total penalties across the 6 games in the SWAC this week.
Yeah.
Good luck this week against my team, Alabama A&M.
All right, see you there.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon. How you doing, Perry?
Oh, you're making it a tough Monday for me. You made it a tough Monday for me, but that's all right, Coach. Yeah, look, your Tigers look great. We talked about Jacoby and Morgan's play. Let's talk about Ahmad Miller and his game as a receiver.
Yeah. You talking about the running back, Ahmad? Are you just
Yeah,
saying?
the running back. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay. Yeah, I mean, Ahmad, he's a bell cow back there. You know, we're rolling about 3-4 guys, but he's leading the charge in that run game. If you look at this young man, he has great size, great balance. I think one of the more elite backs in FCS, but he still has a lot of football in front of him. You know, big time speed, and when we need those tough yards, and he goes out there and gets it done. You know, he's been injury plagued since he got here, but now he's healthy. You know, you can see what a healthy Ahmad Miller brings to this JSU program and what he means to this JSU program. You know, and everybody know when you play JSU, we're gonna start by running the football. And he leads the charge on that with those old linemen up front. And I can't say enough about him in the season he having right now. The thing that I like about him, though, is him, you know, sharing the time with Denario Davenport, Travis Terrell, all those other backs, and he just, you know, take advantage of the reps that he's getting. You know, he's a guy that's more than capable to carry the ball 20 plus times, but he goes out there and get those 10, 11 carries, and, you know, he get you those tough 100-yard games.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this upcoming week. Your squad's looking really good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach TC, how you doing this afternoon?
What's up, Doc? How are you? I'm good.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Coming into the game, going into this weekend's game against Alabama A&M, the defense has held opponents scoreless in the second half, other than the USM game. We have our problems as far as when it comes to A&M in the second half of games in this challenge. What are some things you want to try to improve for the defense going into this game where we won't see those mishaps, where it'd be a 45-38 turnaround game like that?
That's an awesome question. We talked about this with the staff yesterday, you know, and this particular game. You know, like you said, we were able to separate, but they clawed their way back in those previous 2 games. So I told the staff, you know, let's kill a net with a sledgehammer this year if we have that opportunity. We know they're a well-coached football team. Coach Shade is a great football coach. He's done some great things over at Miles, and he's bringing that over to Alabama A&M. But we got to continue to make adjustments throughout the football game, Doc. That's what I'm basically saying. We can't get up 21 points if we're fortunate enough and just relax as a program. You know, we got to continue to try to separate. I thought they did a pretty good job of that on this past weekend. You know, once we started separating, finding ways to keep them out of the end zone. You saw Cam Silas came up with a great interception in that game that really turned the entire game around, and that's what we're looking for this weekend. You know, let's just not go to sleep in the football game once we get a lead.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Question goes to Tamona Stapleton.
Good afternoon, Coach TC Taylor. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Last time we spoke, I asked you about how the team is going to click on all cylinders. And I feel like outside of the penalties and some of the special team issues that Jackson State was able to play a complete game. I wanted to ask you specifically about your kicker, Gerardo Baeza, because he isn't usually one to miss field goals. Is he okay physically after that running into the kicker and also those high snaps from the center?
Yes, definitely. He is fine. That's another good question there. It's just a deal where he has to respond in these big time games, and it's no different. Like I challenged Jacoby and Morgan, I challenge him the same way. You're a preseason all conference guy, so you need to go. You have to go out there and live up to that expectation. And he understands those pressures and what he means to this football team. Same with our lone snapper, Hunter. He knows if he's not snapping the ball back there correctly, we don't get the ball placed right, the right spot. Gerardo, G-Baby can't make those kicks. But I challenge G-Baby, and he understands that and what he means to this team. We expect better of him, and I know he'll going forward, we'll get better play out of him.
Thank you, Coach TC, and good luck this week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Time for two more questions. First one goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach. This is Marvin Nichols from MTMV Sports. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Look, you had a big play passing attack. You had three different receivers that topped 90 receiving yards, highlighted by an 82-yard touchdown from Nate Rimbert and a 51-yard score from Janalen Dupree. What does it say about your quarterback receiver chemistry? And what does that say about your quarterback receiver chemistry and the depth of your passing game to produce that many explosive plays?
It's real simple for me. Like I told Jacoby when I talked to him yesterday, it's about time. you know, it's about time. The way we run the ball, that's so important to our offense. Let me say that, when you have these, that's why we recruited all these weapons on the perimeter, because we want to run the ball. So, you got to make a decision as a defensive coordinator, as a defensive staff. Are you going to bring those safeties down in the box? Are you going to keep two high safeties on top? But we've been waiting all year on this. I think Jared Lockhart came out and showed if you last weekend against the Tuskegee program, that freshman quarterback we have here, he threw the ball around well, and these receivers been ready for it. They just been waiting on the opportunity, and we challenged Jacoby, and coming off that injury in that Tuskegee game, you got to come out and play well this week. We need you to play well this week. Not only this week, this year. You got the weapons around you. You just have to distribute the football and make the right decisions. But if we're continuing to throw the ball the way we're throwing it and running the way we're able to run the football, we're going to be an explosive offense going forward.
Absolutely. Well, you all are currently the king of the SWAC, and you certainly are playing like it. So good luck to you next week.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Last question goes to Troy White.
Good morning, Coach. How you feeling today?
I'm good. Troy, how are you?
I'm doing well. The last time we talked, I asked you about young players.
Yes.
One of the players you did not tell me about was Travis Terrell. And in your running game, he seems to be a great spellback. Tell me about his development and what you look for from him going forward.
Just to continue to get better each and every day. Travis, if you know Travis Terrell, he's a young man that we brought in last year out of Georgia that really, he wants it. That's why he's a preseason all-conference performer as a kick returner. Every time he touched the ball, last year as a kick returner, I mean, it was a touchdown or explosive play. Even the opportunities he had when he was sharing time with Herb Mulligan, on some of those runs. But he's a guy that wants it. He works his butt off. I'm gonna say that about him. But still a young player, and that you have to kind of keep him grounded at times because he gets to wanting it so much. And I'm not saying he's a selfish player, but that passion that he shows for the game. And I tell him, you got to keep that bottle up. And there's still a lot left in him. People hadn't been kicking to him this year. And I wouldn't either if I'm on that other sideline as well. But we just try to, create as many ways of getting him the football, in our offensive scheme, whether it's on special teams or whatever. But he's a phenomenal talent. We're blessed to have him here, part of Jackson State, and want to keep him here going forward.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Good luck going forward. You have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all
Thank
be
you.
safe.
All right, we have received notification that Coach Colsey is not going to be able to join us on our call, so we will actually have Dennis Driscoll reaching out to media. They'll be setting up a separate Zoom session for Coach to participate in with media. He is actually in the process of attending a funeral service, so condolences to Coach Colsey. With that being said, this is going to conclude our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, September 29th, and just a reminder that all SWAC football head coaches media sessions are digitally archived on SWAC TV. Thanks so much for joining. Have a great day.
Thank you, Andrew.